picture of my mother.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I have no picture of my mother. I have a picture of Aunt Sarah and all the other aunts. I had 6 aunts out. But her picture, she went in the house home when it was burnt. So the last letter I wrote to Peg, I want to know if she could find a picture. And I talked to her cousin Jack out in Glencoe the other day. And I asked him, well, I'd like to see a picture of my mother, same as you'd like to see pictures. See that we had pictures in the house home, but the house was burnt. Everything went in pictures. So there was no recent pictures. That's the way it goes.
House burned.
Our house burnt.
I didn't know that.
We burnt. There was, first of all, my mother died when she took sick. She and my father were planting a new field. Then they used to burn the trees, and they used to hack the ashes around and plant potatoes. We had a field like that. Of course, we had them plowed down too. And anyway, the lady next door was sick. Her cousin had come home from working on the line. He was sick. What did he have but diphtheria? Understand? And this woman next door, she's our next door neighbor, and she and my mother and I were just like sisters, you know, back and forth, and the kids. Of course, my father and her husband were cousins, and everybody then was so close. And anyway, she finished digging over across the river there, and she went over to the house. She was washing the lady's throat. She had to swab it with something to soften her throat. But anyway, didn't my mother catch it? Whatever happened? And that lady lived to be 90-something. My mother caught it was on a Saturday. Sunday I know right well, it was the 21st of May. She was cooking the Sunday dinner. Then that Sunday was Sunday then, you know, everybody kind of half dressed up, although they didn't have much, but the day was Sunday the same as Monday, with me and everybody else, you know. And anyway, I remember right well, she was in the kitchen cooking Sunday dinner. I know what we had. It's foolish, you will understand. Them times we used to have hams. Lots of hams, we had them smoked. And trout. The river down below the house there where we lived, it's just, them times it's just swarming with trout. You just go there and whip them out. That's what she was cooking for dinner. And she told Ernie that, so you've seen his picture there, he was scheduled. He told her he was 12-year-old at the time, but he was kind of the fellow that used to do that work with her. And he said, Ernie, you finish the dinner, so I don't feel good. So I remember right well Ernie's there at the frying pan, the old black frying pan at the stove, cooking up. She would in lie down. And then her sister lived up the road, Bernie Kelly's mother. She expected her up that evening, and she never come. But anyway, Heisey, that's my other brother, he went up and told Aunt Martha that her mama was sick. She couldn't come up. That was Sunday evening. And Monday then, I remember right away, Monday, the doctor Jost from Guysborough was up. She had diphtheria. She had it. And I remember Father Morris was the priest. I can remember yet. There used to be hitching post then to tie the horses to at the door. God, them times are so different, Gary. Yes, now we have a car. And I remember the doctor coming, and he had this stuff swallowed in her throat, but she died the next day.
That fast?
That fast, she died. Diphtheria. That's on the 23rd of May, 1911. And I didn't understand what death was. I was 6. I'd be 7 that summer. And I remember right well, I run in that's the house that got burnt. I run into the parlour. There's a bedroom off the parlour. I went in there and I hid behind the door, I remember right well. I knew there was something funny going on. But Mr. Kelly, that's Bernie Kelly's father, I remember right well, he came in, he picked me up, took me out in his arms. I can remember so well. Yet I didn't know what was going on. I didn't. I knew there was something wasn't right. Mama wasn't around. When she wasn't around, there's nothing right when you're small, you know. I remember, I can remember yet then she was dead.
So how did you get along with, how many were you?
There was I and Peg, because Peg was only 2.
Oh my God.
And Heisey was, he'd be 11 that fall, he was like 10 going on 11, and Ernie was 12, the fellow was cooking, and Danny, he was the oldest, he was 14. And Huey, and Ernie was 12, and the other fellow would be 10 going on 11. Then I was 6 and Peg was just 2. So Aunt Sarah, my sisters were all working in the States then. There's no money home at all. Not much, but it was better in the States, you know, them times. So they came home, of course, to the week, and Aunt Sarah, she stayed home. Stayed home that summer with us. And then that summer, she got married, that fall. She got married herself. So we were left on our own.
How did you get by? How did you survive?
My father was a wonderful man.
Well, he would have to be.
He was
Five,
a wonderful
five
man.
children?
5 kids. Oh, that wasn't a worst one, Gary.
Youngest was 2.
That was in May, I was telling you. Anyway, Aunt Sarah was home with us there, and of course she took over from Mom, and she was such a wonderful woman. And anyway, they were haymaking that summer in August, and they were making hay below the road that time with the old cart and horse, you know. And Danny was building the load anyway. Danny tumbled off the load, which they often do up on high. And that night he complained of his neck being sore, and of course they thought that the tumble he got. And by gosh, next day was worse. Didn't he have it? Diphtheria. He took it. Heisey took it. My other brother. Her lordship took it. I took it.
Really?
But Ernie and Peg didn't take it, or Aunt Sarah, my father. So we were put in a separate part of the house, Gary, a separate part of the house. And all they had was the kitchen. And my father and Aunt Sarah and Ernie and they had the kitchen and the porch. We had a big, nice big kitchen, and there was a porch off it. And so us 3 poor children were stashed in where I was in one bedroom. My birthday came up, I know, and Aunt Sarah had made a birthday cake. And there's 2 beds in this room. Heisey was in one bed and I in the other. This is boring to you?
No, not at all.
No?
No.
I thought it might be. I'm just telling you what.
No, it's not boring at all.
No.
It's exactly what I
No.
want to hear.
And anyway, we're in the same bedroom. We were 2 beds. It was a big bed and 2 beds in. And Danny was in the back bedroom of the parlour, they used to call it then. And Anna, she came in a birthday cake. I remember Heisey sitting up in bed and he couldn't swallow. My birthday, it was my birthday, the 9th of August. And my God, he got worse, so they put me in another bedroom. The big house had lots of bedrooms and things in it then. And anyway, I was in the bedroom by myself. And my father come to the back bedroom window. He told me, Heisey is dead. He couldn't, and then I heard Aunt Sarah telling my father, John, he's in heaven, he's in heaven. Danny died the same day. 2 of them. I can hear her saying to my father, he's in heaven, he's in heaven. I knew right well that, my God, what's happening to Danny? So they died the same day. 2 caskets were brought in, I can remember that and they were both in the same grave. There's a big wide grave out in the interval. The 2 brothers.
4 months after your mother.
They went with their mother. But I was left. And then I was alone in that great big house. At that time, you know, you were fumigated. There'd be a yellow flag at their gate when they had that contagious diseases.
Yes.
That no one could, they could come up to the house, but they couldn't go in. So I was alone in that great big house by myself, the big part, and they were all out. And I know one night I was in the back bed, I was still in the back bedroom where they had put me when the boys were dying. And one night I heard noise upstairs. It sounded as if there was mice or something scurried across upstairs. I was like lonesome. But Aunt Sarah used to come in every night. She would open the back kitchen, open the kitchen, she and Peg, and that little narrow bed they were sleeping on. And she used to come in every night to see me. And anyway, I was very lonesome anyway. First thing I heard the door open. This is God's fact now. I'm not making it. And the door opened, and I seen a woman put her head around the corner of the door. But she never come over to the bed. And I thought the next morning, I said, Aunt Sarah, I said, why didn't you come over to me? You know, I was lonesome and crying. Oh, she said, I slept so sound, she said, I was never in at all. And you know who I seen coming around the corner of the door? I knew by her hair, my mother. That's as true as God is in heaven. It was my mother. I know very well. She heard me and she come back. So then they took me out of that back bedroom and they put me in the bedroom off the dining room, you know, nearer the kitchen. But I was there for ever so long. No one would come in. I remember Ernie, my brother Ernie, used to, the window, you open the window and hand in my meals to me when I started to eat. For the old doctors up to me too. I remember yet he put this big flat spoon on my tongue as I thought it was. Is he sleeping?
Yes.
And but I got finally I come around, and I don't know why didn't the name of God didn't take me then to be done with it. Here I'm stuck here to 80 years more longer.
Well, I'm glad you stuck around.
It only didn't take me. I wasn't ready to go.
I guess not.
No, he must have something else for me to do. I don't know. That's just a story. It's a tract. So then after that then, my father, we got along like that. Ernie was kind of took over. He used to make old hard biscuits. Yeah, only 12.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma Martha, she used to bake once in a while. Then she had a baby, for she had been married that fall before. Then that was cut out. I remember yet Ernie and my father, I know anyone come in, I could see my father yet going showing them the biscuits, the good biscuits Ernie made. That kept us alive. I remember too, would be, oh God, I can't think of it, it was hard times.
When did the house burn?
What?
When did the house burn?
Well, yes, the house burnt, let me see. It was later on, then we went to school, Peg and I. Ernie went away to work, he was working on the line in the Western Union. Before that, he worked at the car works in Glasgow when he was only 16. He worked there for a while. There was no money, but there was hard work, but there was money, 2 cents. So the house burnt. Leo McGilvery, that'd be a cousin of mine, McGilvery's. He was building a house, or they were moving a house from one place to another. At that time, we used to call them raising bees or some damn thing, you know, old ones get together. So my father and everybody in the valley and all Caledonia pretty near were all at Leo McGilvery's. And I had to go up with him that morning. I was 16 or 7, yeah, with him to help with the meals. Me and Mary Doyle, that'd be the Doyle, she lived up the road from us. And old Duncan, you must have heard tell of old Duncan Boyle.
Mm-hmm.
He was for we were looking after cooking the dinner, you know. And then everything was so plentiful that they had big chunks of roast beef. People risked everything. Mm-hmm. And poor old Duncan, he had 6 pies made when we got there. Me and Mary, you know, he was good to cook, he was an old bachelor. And he'd jump, instead of walking around a table or a chair, he'd jump over it in such a hurry. Of course, it was funny. With me, Mary had fun anyway. Mary was cutting turnips up for the dinner. I was peeling potatoes. That was great. After dinner was over, everybody went down to work at the bar, at the house. And Doug was showing us pictures of somebody had died and was laid out in the house, these old dreary pictures. First in the telephone ones. They had a telephone then, back then, way in there. He went and answered the phone. Our house was afire. That's all I needed, me way up there. The house was afire. He come screeching out of the room. The house was afire. So I looked down the valley, could see nothing but the smoke just rolling.
1920?
What?
It's 1920?
That was, oh my God. The house was burnt. I can't think of it now.
You were 16, you said?
It was I just forget, it was the 19th of October. For I wasn't going to school, but Peg was. I think I quit school to stay home. I had to work home. Someone had to do the work home. So he and I left that morning. Anyway, the house was afire. So everybody, the word got out the house was afire. Everybody went down, but then it was horse and wagons. How quick could they get there? We went down 5 miles. Everything was burnt. So I stayed up, but that evening my father and Peg came up to McGilvery's where I was. Didn't say a thing.
There was nobody in the house when it went on fire?
No. Peg was in school.
Well, that's a blessing, I guess.
Peg was in school. And anyway, some of the boys, they asked to go out or something, then there was no toilet out behind somewhere. And they heard the little dog up at the house barking an awful lot. And I think some of them seen smoke or something. So anyway, then the alarm was put out around the valley. But most of all the men in the valley were up at the queer thing, you know. And then the people to get together, just like make a party of it almost. The house burnt. But the little, we had a little dog, and Peg thought the word of that dog. For someone told him the dog took off to the woods. It was the poor little dog family behind the front door. Burnt.
That's why he was barking, maybe, trying to get out.
Yes, he was trying to get out. The house was burnt. Then we had no house.
No house.
No clothes. No beds.
Yeah,
No
nothing.
stoves.
Yeah.
No dishes. No blankets. No house.
In October.
19th of October, winter
Oh,
coming.
winter coming.
Our potatoes were all burnt. We had them in the cellar. The only thing we had was turnips. We hadn't pulled the turnips. You know, it was October, needed.
You ate a lot of turnips that year, did you?
God, I guess we looked like a turnip. But my God, all the good potatoes we had, everything was just black. So anyway, we stayed at Kelly's. Ernie come home from working on the line.
Is
You
he
got-
Bernie Kelly's father?
Yeah,
Okay,
Bernie
okay.
Kelly's mother's, yes.
Okay.
She'd be my aunt, my mother's
Mhm.
sister. But Ernie, the old milk house was there, and the roof was half burnt in on it. But Ernie made a bunk up on the side of the wall in the milk house. And that's where he slept. And the snow would be coming over in the bed. He never got sick. But he stayed there. My father stayed there all day, and he'd come up some nights, he'd come up to Kelly's, he'd stay. We stayed there till the 19th of December. We moved in the house Peg have now. It was awful. It was just a skeleton of a house, understand? There's an old
Yes.
house down the road somewhere.